Guys, two things here. Number one is don't rely on your property management company to evaluate the tax value of your property. They won't do it. It's your responsibility. And once you know it's your responsibility, the next thing you need to do is understand the process, because there's a window of time where you can file for an abatement. And if you miss that window, you're off. And I mean, John is saying it's a 2-year waiting period between filing periods. I was on the Board of Assessors in Nashua for many years, 20 years ago, and it was every year, but it was a window. And if you missed that window, you were done. Don't even bother showing up. They're not going to hear your case. Okay, that's number one. Now, the second thing I want you to understand is the process of how it goes for an abatement. You walk in, you file your form, you provide your evidence, you get a hearing before the Board of Assessors. The Board of Assessors is made up typically of citizens of the town, appointed by the mayor or what have you. I was appointed by the mayor in my town. And oh my gosh. Let me, okay, well, how much time do we have? We got time. I was on the Board of Assessors back when I owned a condo, my first condo, right out of college. I bought a condo. My roommate, my best friend since he was 5 years old, worked for the mayor. He was in the city hall, and they had an opening on the Board of Assessors. And so he said, Charlie, you own a condo. They want to get somebody who has a condo on the board. I said, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll go on the board. So I go on the board. I'm 25 years old or so, and I'm on the Board of Assessors. And I'm listening to these cases and what have you. And then they go through a revaluation. And the revaluation is a nightmare. Everybody in the city is screaming bloody murder. Front page of the newspaper, back when we had a newspaper, every single day. It's like, oh, it's just a disaster. And we're on the Board of Assessors, and everybody is filing for an abatement. Everybody's filing for an abatement. By that time, I'm working for an insurance firm in Boston, and I got a phone call from a reporter from the Nashua Telegraph. And they say, do you have any comment on the fact that your condo is assessed lower than your neighbor? Identical property, identical condo, and my assessment is lower. Front page headline: member of the Board of Assessors condo is assessed lower than his neighbors. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I didn't even look. How could anybody know? Like, and it turned out that the company that came around was doing all the assessments, took like all of the condos in that area and assessed them at the same rate. But mine had a different number for some reason, and they just put the wrong assessment. It was a $200 differential, but nevertheless, it was front page news. So you go through this assessment process, and if you have to understand when the timelines are. Now, the Board of Assessor will come up with a decision. They'll say, okay, we're going to assess you. You know, you've presented your case. It's good. We're going to reduce your assessment by X. And you look at the number and like, no, that's not even close. You're not. I can't. My assessment should be here, and you guys are there. Well, then the next thing you have to do is to appeal it to the state. That's the next level up. Now you have to understand how that process now works, because now you're dealing with a different jurisdiction. So you have to file it within a certain period of time. You have to wait for the time period. And while you're waiting, you have to pay your taxes on time every time. Okay. So let me give you another example. In Texas, I had this situation going on. They doubled my taxes overnight, doubled it. because it's a non-disclosure state, and they found out that I had bought it for twice as much as it was assessed for, and so they doubled my tax rate. I go and say, this is ridiculous. I'm double what all my neighbors are now. Well, yeah, we'll give you a 5% discount. No, 5%. I want to be back down to where I was originally. Well, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to take you 2 years to get to the Texas Tax Tribunal, the TTT, and you've got to pay your taxes in the meantime, all that time, or you don't get a seat at the table when it comes time for your time to be heard. And it took 2 years back that time because everybody was filing for an abatement. So understand the process in your area, your town, and work the system. That's how you need to do these types of things.